Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to take a class on examination of the respiratory system. This is Professor Mahmouda Hassan from the Department of Pediatrics. Probably this is my 7th class for the batch A1, A2. And here I'm trying to make you understand the procedure of examination of the respiratory system, but after the crisis, corona crisis is over, when it will be over, then inshallah we will do the practical examination. But remember the following points for regarding the respiratory system examination in your exam. You know, there are two lungs, right and left. Right lung having 3 lobes, upper, middle and the lower. Sorry, picture is not good here. Sorry for that, but you know very well from your anatomy. And the left lung having 2 lobes, upper and the lower lobe. And during your exam, it is invariably asked, the respiratory tract extends from the nose to the alveoli, you know, and it is divided into 2 parts, upper respiratory tract and the lower respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract is from nasal cavity up to the larynx, from nose up to the larynx, and lower respiratory tract is from trachea up to the alveoli. Examination sequence, you know, it has got 4 parts: inspection, palpation, percussion, and the auscultation. Each and every section is important for your exam. You have to do some general examination in relation to respiratory system. You have to look for general well-being, nutritional status, decubitus, and you have to look on the face. You have to look for cyanosis. It is present in respiratory problem, pallor. You have to look at the tongue for central cyanosis. And you can see on the face the signs of allergic rhinitis as well. On hands, you have to see for pallor, cyanosis, and clubbing. On hand, pulse rate and character of the pulse and clubbing. You have to look for blood pressure. You have to look for pulsus paradoxus, which is present in asthma and hypotension. And in older children, when the age is more than 5 years, you can see the jugular venous pulse. Let us have a look on the pulsus paradoxus. In inspiration, usually there is reduction of the blood pressure and it is less than 10 millimeter of mercury. When reduction of the blood pressure during inspiration occurs more than 10 millimeter of mercury, it is called pulsus paradoxus. And you know the mechanism from your physiology. On inspection of the chest, you have to look from the side as well as from the leg side of the right side of the patient, as well as from the lower side, that is from the leg side of the patient, and you have to see the shape of the chest. Usually anterior posterior diameter, you have to compare the anterior posterior diameter with the transverse diameter, but in children it is not possible. Normally it is elliptical shape. Transverse diameter is more than that of the anterior diameter. And when barrel chest occurs, chest is barrel shaped when the anterior posterior diameter is increased, as in obstructive airway disease. And you have, on inspection, you have to look for the symmetry of the chest and as well as symmetrical movement of the chest during respiration. You have to look for pectus excavatum or sunken sternum. Here you can see a picture of pectus excavatum and pectus carinatum or prominent sternum. Here you can see another picture, and there may be kyphoid scoliosis. These are the conditions that may cause respiratory problem as well. And on inspection, symmetry of the chest movement during moderate respiration looked from front, and as well as you have to look from the leg side of the patient. Any scar mark from previous operation or chest drain or quarterly mark or radiotherapy marking, it is important for the adult. Harrison sulcus, which is present in chronic obstructive airway disease, and prominent veins in case of supravenacaval obstruction, which is more common in adults. On inspection, this is also inspection, you have to look for signs of respiratory distress. You have, for signs of respiratory distress, you have to look for fast breathing, and in that case you have to count the respiratory rate, and you have to I will show you the cutoff point of respiratory rate in relation to age in my next slide. You have to look for chest indrawing. Here, lower chest indrawing, when the lower chest is going inside during each and every inspiration, it is chest indrawing. Suprasternal, above the sternal, and intercostal recession. Here you can see the intercostal recessions and flaring of the Alanesi. Here this is normal nostrils and flared nostrils. This is flare of the Alanesi. You can see a child in case of in a child with respiratory distress, as for, say for example in bronchiolitis, most commonly in bronchiolitis in children. Here come to the point of cutoff value of respiratory rate of a child. Cutoff value of respiratory rate, fast breathing for diagnosis of pneumonia in children as follows. If the rate of respiration is 60 or more than 60 breaths per minute from birth up to 2 years, you can say the baby having pneumonia. From 2 months up to 12 months, if the, or you can say it is fast breathing. Once again, from birth up to 2 months, if the rate of respiration is 60 or more than 60, you can call it fast breathing. From 2 months onward up to completed 12 months, if the respiratory rate is 50 or more than 50 breaths per minute, you can call it fast breathing. From 12 months onward up to completed 5 years, if the rate of respiration is 40 or more than 40, you can call it fast breathing. And you may have a multiple choice question with the rates, which one is true according to the age of the child. You have to look for trachea, normally central. Slight right displacement could be normal. Check for gross displacement, which is the evidence of mediastinal shifting. Mediastinal shifting can occur in case of pneumothorax, in case of pleural effusion to the opposite side, and in case of collapse consolidation, that we will discuss according to the disease wise, and I think already it has been discussed in your lecture classes. Tracheal tract means the normal distance between the sternal notch and the cricoid cartilage. It is less than 3 to 4 finger breadth, and it occurs in chest over expansion as in COPD. Apex bit on left fifth intercostal space. It is just medial to the mid-clavicular line. And you have to check for displacement. It is an evidence of, if it is displaced, you can say there is evidence of mediastinal shifting, as in occurs in pneumothorax, in collapse consolidation, in pleural effusion. Chest expansion, normal expansion is at least 4 centimeter in older children, but those you can see it though in those children who can follow the commands. Vocal fremitus or tactile vocal fremitus, TVF, can be done with the palm of your one hand and ask the child to say 99 and complete the examination symmetrically on both sides in the mid-clavicular line, mid-axillary line, and the scapular line. Interpretation of the tactile vocal fremitus or vocal fremitus. When the vibration is increased, it is due to consolidation, as occurs in mnemonic consolidation. If the vibration is decreased, it is due to collapse or pleural thickening. Vibration is absent, it is due to pleural effusion. Actually, these things I'm giving only the, I'm just talking about the condition, and you have to do actually practically on bedside, and inshallah we will do it after the crisis is over. And percussion, and you have to remember the method of percussion. It is very important, and procedure of percussion is also important. Let us talk about the pleximeter. It is the distal interphalangeal joint of the left middle finger, and the plexor is the right middle finger. Let us have a look. This is the pleximeter, left middle finger of this distal interphalangeal joint of left middle finger, and the plexor is your right middle finger. And during percussion, you have to move your wrist joint, nothing else. You have to stroke it perpendicularly on your left middle finger, and there should not be any movement of the elbow joint. During percussion only there will be the movement of the wrist joint, and you have to produce a sound during percussion to come to the conclusion what type of sound it is producing. And you have to do the percussion on the mid clavicular line, and this is your left hand and middle finger of your left hand, and you have to percuss with the help of the middle finger of the right hand, and the movement will be on the wrist joint. This is from the back on the scapular line, same way, and as well as on the side, both side, right and left side, at the mid axillary line. Remember that you have to compare the percussion note at the mid clavicular line, both on the right and left side. You have to compare on the right and left side. And in the area of cardiac area, you have to go a little bit laterally to the left side to get the lung area, lung field. And remember that over the clavicle, you have to percuss directly over the clavicle, and in the clavicle, you don't need to place your left hand of the left finger of your left hand. left middle finger of your left hand. So you have to percuss with the right middle finger directly over the clavicle. But above the clavicle, you have to place your left middle finger and percuss it with the right middle finger. And then procedure should be symmetrical on both sides. From the front, symmetrically, you have to percuss right and left side on the symmetrically on both sides. You have to compare, and on the side at the mid axillary line, you have to also compare symmetrically. Percussion note, it could be resonance, hyperresonance, dull, or stony dull. Note is resonant, it is normal lung. Hyperresonant in case of pneumothorax or emphysema. Dull in case of collapse, consolidation, pleural thickening, or pleural fibrosis, lung fibrosis, sorry. And stony dull only in one condition, that is in pleural effusion. Let us come to the point of auscultation. You have to listen for breath sound and added sound. Breath sound are the sounds produced by the movement of the air through the respiratory tract. These sounds vary in their specific characteristics depending upon the area of the thorax being auscultated and whether or not the underlying lung is diseased. Same as auscultation site, same as the site shown in percussion in the mid clavicular line from front. You have to compare on both sides, mid axillary line from sides, and you have to compare on both sides symmetrically, and scapular line from behind. You have to compare it symmetrically on both sides. So we have discussed about the normal, I will talk about the normal breath sound, abnormal breath sound, and the added sound on auscultation. Normal breath sound. Site, that is the vesicular breath sound. Vesicular breath sound, it is a normal breath sound. It is, you can hear in most of the lung field. Intensity increases during inspiration and fades during 1/3 of the expiration. That is louder and longer during inspiration than expiration phase, and it has no gap between the two phases. That is, there is no gap between the phase of inspiration and the expiration. I'm sorry, the figure is not good enough. And the bronchial breath sound is normal over the larynx and the trachea. It is a blowing inspiratory and expiratory sound. Bronchial breath sound is audible in inspiration and expiration and have a short pause between the inspiration and expiration. Another sound is very important for your exam, vesicular breath sound with prolonged expiration. Here, we have seen the vesicular breath sound. The inspiratory phase, intensity increases during inspiration and fades during 1/3 of the expiration. That is, louder and longer inspiratory phase, and expiratory phase is not that much longer than that of the inspiratory phase. This is normal vesicular breath sound. And I'm talking about now the vesicular breath sound with prolonged expiration. When it should be normally, it will end over here, but sometimes it is prolonged than that of the inspiratory phase. It is present in bronchiolitis and in bronchial asthma in children. It is very important for your examination and your practical exam. Let us talk about the added sound. What type of added sound you may get in children? Stridor. It is rhonchi actually, not wheeze. Wheeze you can listen without any stethoscope. That is, during the phase of expiration, there is a musical sound you can hear, whistling sound, wheeze, without any stethoscope. But here it will be rhonchi. Actually, here it will be rhonchi, crepitation, and friction rub. Stridor, it is a crowing sound, occurs due to partial obstruction of the larynx and the trachea. Here, larynx or trachea, say for example, any growth leading to partial obstruction of the larynx or trachea, or any foreign body which is causing partial obstruction in the larynx or trachea can produce stridor. And here rhonchi, the sound, added sound is rhonchi, continuous musical polyphonic sounds, heard louder on expiration. Up to this mark you remember. And crepitation or crackles, interrupted non-musical inspiratory sound. And friction rub, thickened and prolonged plural, rough and plural surfaces rub together during inspiration and expiration. It indicates pleurisy and may be heard in the pneumonia or pleural infarction. Again, I have discussed it is a crowing sound occurs due to partial obstruction of the larynx and trachea. Here you can see this is stridor. It is heard during the, you can listen it during the phase of inspiration. And the rhonchi when there is partial obstruction at the level of the bronchiole. Say for example, in bronchiolitis due to excessive mucosal accumulation of the excessive mucus within the level of the mucus secretion within the level of the bronchioles. Here normal airway and the mucus plaque within the level of the bronchiole. For this excessive mucosal secretion, you can listen the rhonchi during the phase of expiration. And the crepitation is due to a collection of the exudative or transudative fluid within the level of the alveoli. And friction rub, I have discussed, thickened or roughened pleural surfaces rub together during inspiration and expiration. Again, added sound stridor sounds in hard in inspiration sound, and cause is due to foreign body or tumor partially occluding the larynx, trachea, or right and left principal bronchi. It is heard during the phase of inspiration. The added sound rhonchi, high-pitched musical sound, cause is due to partial narrowing of the bronchioles, as I have told you, due to formation of mucus plaque. You can listen the sound during the phase of expiration. In clinical condition like bronchiolitis, bronchial asthma, less commonly foreign body aspiration in children. Added sound, crepitation, non-musical sound. During the phase of inspiration, you can listen it due to reopening of the peripheral small airways during inspiration that have been occluded during expiration. this problem is at the level of the alveoli. As I have told, in pneumonia or any other condition, there may be collection of fluid, either exudative or transudative. Exudative fluid, say for example in pneumonia, there is collection of the fluid within the level of the alveoli, and this fluid causing the sounds like crepitation during the phase of inspiration. The sound is producing from the level of the alveoli. And in clinical condition like pneumonia or bronchiectasis, you can listen the crepitation. And abnormal breath sound, we have discussed added sound. What are the added sound? Bronchi, crepitation, friction rub, and stridor. You can listen stridor without any stethoscope, but you have to use your diaphragm for in order to, when you want to listen the bronchi, crepitation, and friction rub. So added sound stridor, added sound bronchi, added sound crepitation. And I'm now going to discuss abnormal breath sound. The bronchial breath sound, when heard in areas over the lung field other than larynx, trachea, right and left principal bronchi. So when you can listen the bronchial breath sound other than larynx, trachea, right and left principal bronchi, then it will be abnormal breath sound. Say for example in lobar consolidation, in case of lobar pneumonia, you can listen the breath sound is bronchial. Normally over the lobes, healthy lobe, the breath sound will be vesicular. But in case of lobar consolidation, the sound will sound you can listen over the lobar consolidation is bronchial. And in auscultation, you have to listen for vocal resonance. Before going to that slide, how you can perform vocal resonance, ask the child to say 99, and you have to listen with the diaphragm of your stethoscope. The vocal frimeters, you have used your palm of your hands, but here you are using the diaphragm of your stethoscope. Cite same as area of auscultation or auscultation and compare symmetrically on both sides, that is at the mid-clavicular line, mid-axillary line and scapular line. At the surface of effusion, the sound 99 sound like bleating goat. This is called agophony. And same sound transmitted clearly when whispering, known as whispering pectoralici. And these are the terminology, different terminology. Without practical demonstration, it is quite difficult to understand actually the sounds. And remember this slide, auscultation. On auscultation, you have to listen for vocal resonance. As I have told you, in condition pleural effusion, the vocal resonance will be absent. In consolidation, vocal resonance will be increased, and as I have told you, there will be whispering pectoralici. And in case of collapse, the vocal resonance will be decreased, and in case of pneumothorax, vocal resonance will be decreased. So thank you all.